the Georgia Living Podcast. I'm Céline Evans.
And I'm Chris Evans.
Hey, so we've got a lot to talk about today. You wanted me to talk about what I made to eat this week?
Well, I figured it would be nice because you've been in the kitchen like nonstop, just back to school and being super mom, like the wonderful mother that you are. You're baking all these things, and like I feel like I'm getting fat again. But there's so many that I thought
stop.
No, please don't. But I thought it would be nice that we can maybe share one of the recipes or talk about what your favorite thing is that we had this week in our household, because we've just been cooking up so much.
Yeah, but you know what? The kids' schedules are really getting a little crazy, so it's getting a little bit more difficult. When we would talk to parents of older kids, I think we heard them when they said that, oh, we feel like a taxi driver. Mm-hmm. They have so many things going on. It really ramps up. Mm-hmm. I think we knew that. We just didn't want to feel it just yet.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to feel it because, our son is doing sports now. Now he's doing an instrument. He goes to another school as well. And then civic activities after that. So 4 things. And then, of course, religious. So 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just for one kid. Then there's 2 other children. So quite a bit, lots of homework, and
we're in the thick of it.
Yeah,
I feel like parenthood is officially like the training wheels are off, right? It's like kind of with elementary school, they're still small, they're doing things, but it's not like it's they don't really have their own lives yet.
It's exhausting for different reasons.
Yeah, it's like now they're developing their own lives and managing that, and the training wheels are fully off by the time you enter middle school. I tell you what.
And then, he picked up an instrument. So,
yep.
Y'all, be prepared. In middle school, they can pick a really expensive instrument, and then you have to turn around within 1 week, and if you go to a store, it's like $2,000 something. So beware.
Yeah, I mean anywhere from like $800 to $2,000 depending upon like the condition or the quality of the instrument. So it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do have rental programs, so mean there's things like that as well. But so back to what you've been baking, and you've been in the kitchen for a few different things. One is you made these cream puffs that were absolutely you made the cream puffs before last episode. This week you made donuts filled with, what was that, pistachio?
Okay, so a little history lesson here. I believe that the Portuguese took over what's called malasadas, I think that's what you say, to Hawaii. And this is when they were world travelers. I mean, they went to Mozambique and Japan. Well, anyways, when they went to Japan, they introduced a lot of baking techniques, a lot of baking flavors, because they didn't have sugar before that. So, from what I understand, not so completely sure on the history of sugar, but they introduced a lot of baking stuff and the techniques that are associated with it. So, the donut that I made was actually it was like a Japanese take on the Hawaiian malasadas. And you want to look this up. I know you've never had one, and I really wish that you would try one, but we haven't made it to Hawaii yet. But when, I've been there and I go to get a fresh malasada, it really reminds me of what I made. And it's basically...
Yeah.
It looks very similar, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so the history of that is that the Portuguese introduced those. And it's like a jelly-filled donut, but not.
Instead of jelly, you had put custard in it.
Yes, but you can have all different kinds of flavors. And it's like this giant, like a dinner roll.
Yeah.
A big one. And it's big and fluffy. And
it's like a jelly donut.
Inside is, but it's so much fluffier.
Yeah, it really is.
Covered in sugar around
so
it, too.
Good.
So what I understand is that there is a Japanese chain that opened in Tokyo and a few other places. Maybe they have like 4 different locations. And I think the name of it is I Am Donut with a question mark. I don't really know.
Am I, though?
Right. Every time I go to this place, because I've been there maybe twice, just walking by, I haven't ordered anything. But I do question myself whenever I look at that sign. I'm like, are you asking me if you're a donut? I don't know.
Sometimes I feel like I need to ask myself that question because I hear, donut do this, donut do that.
Donut nobis pacem.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's my take on that, and made 6 of them, but they're huge. So I mean, you can like finish half, and then you're just like, oh my gosh. But what did you think?
I thought it was probably the best donut I've had in a long time.
Really?
What was it? The pistachio shoe cream flavor that you put in there?
So I have these candy concentrate flavors.
Okay.
And it's for candy making, but it's in an oil form. So you can actually add it to baked goods as well, and other culinary items, I guess. I've got melon and vanilla, butterscotch, all different kinds. Pistachio is one of my favorite flavors, so I bought it specifically just for my taste, and I basically put it in everything because I like
so
pistachio.
Good. But yeah, I feel like I'm living with my own little bakery, and like once a week we get these amazingly delicious treats for either a breakfast or a dessert.
Yes.
So keep it up, honey.
Land shark, which his name is Archer. He's a German short-haired pointer, and he will counter surf.
Captain Idiot.
And he will get anything that's out. So you really have to be careful.
He likes to follow the littlest kid around because he knows, like, if we're eating, like, he doesn't even bother hanging out with us. But if Claire has food, he will go and just follow her around in hopes that she's going to drop something, or not even that she's going to drop it, that she's going to look away and he's going to grab it out of her hands.
Right.
Because, she's the littlest, so he can push her over.
It's not even her hands, Chris. It's actually her mouth. He'll land shark up and then reach and pull it out from her mouth. So.
Well, isn't that just nice?
Yeah.
Isn't that special? Well, that's kind of what's going on around our house. We've been busy. With sports, we've had a couple of canceled practices due to the fun late afternoon showers that we've got. And with all the storms coming, we've got a great treat for you this episode. We're going to talk about 10 ways that you can prepare your house for hurricane season. So that's going to be up later in the episode. We'll also talk a little bit about Cobb 101, the Citizens Government Academy that's going on right now that I'm lucky to be a part of. But before we get into that, we've got some community events and some high school football we need to get into. So, Céline, why don't you lead us off with that?
So we've actually talked about this last episode, but these things are so fun that I want to reiterate them. First of all is East Cobber Parade and Festival. That's on the 13th. That is a Saturday of September. And the parade itself starts at 10 a.m., Princeton Lake Subdivision, and then you go to Old Town Parkway, so it's about a mile. It's about 80 groups, marching bands, floats, classic cars, and it's kind of been known to be the candy parade because if you watch these floats come out, they are throwing candy like it is Mardi Gras, and really shortly after, if you drive by there, you can see little pieces.
Pro tip, if you're going to watch the parade, be closer to the start when they all still have candy. A lot of people will run out of candy to throw towards the end of the parade. So if you've got little ones and you want to get there for the candy, make sure you're sitting towards the start of the parade route.
That's true. They get a little excited and then they just throw them out.
That's a pro tip.
There's also a festival that goes along with this parade. It starts at 11 a.m., so they give you 1 hour to do the parade. It's at Johnson Ferry Baptist Church, 955 Johnson Ferry Road. Now, this is a huge Baptist church that is quite the staple in East Cobb.
You can't miss it.
You can't.
It's right between Roswell Road and Lower Roswell on Johnson Ferry. You can see it from miles away, basically. It's huge.
Well, it's one of the staples here. It's been here for so long that many generations have gone to this church. So you might know somebody who's been there, or maybe part of your family has. There will be local vendors, food, carnival games, and entertainment. It is free to attend. You park along Johnson Ferry Road and in that parking lot. Now, be careful, don't park on Johnson Ferry.
They will have officers out there directing traffic and helping to guide anybody to parking.
Don't just stop on Johnson Ferry.
Yeah, please don't.
No. If you want any more information, you can call 770-640-7070 or contact the East Cobber, Lauren, Laren, at eastcobber.com.
There you go.
That about wraps it up for East Cobber Parade. There's also North Georgia State Fair.
Yes!
September 18th to 28th, 2025. I know you're not a big funnel cake eater anymore.
Not as much.
Especially since I make my own donuts. So.
Well, there's that, and then, 40 is getting closer and closer. And the closer it gets, it seems like I got to slow down on some of the junk food, to keep my slender figure going on. My dad bod, as the kids call it. They're
talk about a dad.
Oh, they talk about to me? Yeah, they'll come up and they'll be like, "I'm gonna pat Daddy's tummy." Dad, do you have a dad bod? Oh yeah, it's.
Well, they're just pulling your leg.
Yeah, of course they are, but they love doing it. So it's definitely taking better care of myself as we're getting older. Just because I'm not eating the funnel cakes doesn't mean I'm staying away from like the sausage, peppers, and onion sandwiches. Like those are staples. I love those. The kids are definitely getting the funnel cakes and the cotton candy and all that stuff though.
Well, okay, the state fair is September 18th to 28th, so you've got 10 whole days, and it's at Jim Miller Park, 2245 Callaway Road, Marietta. A lot of people live in Metro Atlanta, so they opt to go to this one instead, the North Georgia State Fair. You have a lot of the same items that Perry does. Of course, Perry is larger because it's
Perry's the state fair. Yeah, that's where all the regional fair winners go to compete.
Right, but North Georgia State Fair is top notch. It is just as fun.
Oh, if not more fun, because the parking hassle alone in Perry at the state fair. Oh. Like by the time you're parked, you feel like you've wasted an hour of your day, and it comes out of the whole walking of the festival.
Well, there's live music, carnival midway, motorsports, bull riding, food competitions, and you explained to me what mutton busting was.
Yeah, the little kids that wear helmets and ride around on the backs of sheep.
I want to meet the parents that put the kids on the sheep. They seem cool.
Go bust those mutton.
Well, there are deals that are happening for admission. There's opening day free admission, senior day, teacher Tuesday, and a food drive day. Otherwise, it's $15 for admission, $10 for seniors. Kids 10 and under are free. Now, that doesn't include the tickets for the rides and things like that, which are available at the event.
Yep. And last year, I'm sure they're going to do this again. Last year, they had a deal where you would just buy one pass and have like unlimited rides for the whole day. And it was a whole lot more affordable to do it that way.
Well, it also depends on how many kids you have.
That's why it was so much more affordable to do it that way.
That's true. That's true. There's also Taste of Smyrna, September 6th, 2025. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so that's going to take place on the Village Green from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's going to be over 25 restaurants, and so everybody will have little dishes out there. The tastings are going to run from $1 to $10, and then there's going to be a bunch of contests. So they'll be awarding for best entree, dessert, presentation, etc. Throughout the event, they're going to have live music. There's going to be a beer and wine garden. kids activities, and the best part is free admission. So you can go out and check out the restaurants for Smyrna.
This Village Green is really cool too.
Oh.
When we were in high school, because Campbell High School is where I graduated from the International Baccalaureate program, and it is in the backyard of the Village Green. You can walk to this. Now, Georgia kids, they usually don't walk because we have cars and it's hot outside. Or it's really cold. We have 4 seasons. So this was being built or brand new when I was in high school, and
it was new. Yeah,
it was brand new. They have since done a lot of modifications to it. They've expanded. They've started doing these festivals, and it's really become this central location for the city of Smyrna. There's also, you can do proclamations across the Village Green, because they do have offices for the government there, and I really think that they did a really great job, the whole city of Smyrna, in putting this together, because it feels like a central location and it kind of ties everyone together too. I think that they were making a brewery last.
Yeah, it's been. I haven't driven by that part because it's on Atlanta Road recently, but I think they're in construction. They should have broken ground already, but we got a brewery coming to downtown Smyrna.
Ooh, that sounds really good right now.
Oh, yeah.
Cold beer because it's so hot outside.
I gotta close this browser window because I still have these pictures of the Hawaiian malasadas up, and I'm really wanting a donut right now.
You keep staring at them?
Yeah, so I'm sorry. And if that's going to take place on September 6th. If you're not in the Smyrna area and you're in the Acworth area on September 6th, then you can check out the Acworth Mimosa Festival. That's going to take place from 1 to 5. So you could actually start out at Taste of Smyrna and then go to the Mimosa Festival for some cocktails afterwards. This is going to be hosted by Atlanta Wine Festivals. There's going to be classic and flavored mimosas, bellinis, brunch punch, live music. Tickets are $45 in advance, $55 the day of, and the first 500 tickets are $35. This event is 21 and up only and will take place rain or shine.
Yeah, at first when I heard $45 for a ticket, I thought, whoa, but alcohol.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yep.
So budget-friendly, Taste of Smyrna. You've got the East Cobber Parade, as well as the North Georgia State Fair, depending on how many children you have. If you feel bougie, then go to the Acworth Mimosa Festival. You will get mimosas. I wonder what brunch punch tastes like.
I don't know. I'm generally not a mimosa fan. Like, champagne is not my drink of choice.
Either you're a champagne lover or not a hater, but avoider.
Yeah. Well, wine in general isn't my preference. Like,
what do you prefer? Oh, whiskey.
Tequila, whiskey. Like, if I'm gonna drink, gonna not have extra calories with it.
What's your favorite then?
Oh, my favorite is Middleton Very Rare Irish whiskey.
That's true, but you tried a new one at we tried a new restaurant this week or last Friday.
Yeah, we were at El on North for date night. I don't even know why I didn't put in the date night section into here, but El on North, and they serve 13th Colony spirits, which is from Americus, Georgia. And it was pretty good. Wasn't bad. So just wanted to try it out because it was a Georgia-grown or a Georgia-based brewery or distillery, and it was pretty good. Yeah.
And then you also said that you were wondering why it was El on North, but you think
I figured it out.
The same owners as the local?
Yeah. So you have the local, which is the breakfast and lunch spot, and I think that El on North is probably like a sister company. I don't know, but the logos looked unique, and don't quote me on anything because I haven't.
They might be related, they might not. Anyways,
I haven't looked up anything.
It is the restaurant right next door to the Earl and Rachel Smith Strand Theater.
Yeah, and it was delicious.
Is a staple in our community as well. It is on the square, Marietta Square, and it is truly something that I hold dear to my heart now. I know we just started going, but once you step in there, you're like, wow, let's
cool
keep
place.
this going.
Yeah.
Definitely Andy. He, helps out with that. He's employed by them. I don't know what his title is.
I don't know. It's like Andy Gaines is like director of all things needing to be done at the Strand, basically.
Yeah, well, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And he is really, he's got this energy about the Strand that you can definitely tell it's more than a job. And once you step in, it's like a mini Fox Theater. So you don't have to go all the way to Atlanta to go to the Fox, although I do recommend it. It's great there too.
I love that it's a non-profit, so they serve beer, wine, and snacks, but there's no tax on it.
And the snacks and everything is a reasonable price.
Yeah, like you can get concessions for like $3.
Right. And you don't feel overwhelmed there either. And the acts there are, they're not, headliners. They're not like
well, I don't know about that. There's some pretty big.
Well, I'm talking about, Celine Dion, Adele.
No, but they've had Driving and Crying.
Yes, but I'm not. It's not a Las Vegas residency type of headliner,
no. Well, it's a small venue.
Right. So it's a small venue appropriate, shows. And the L right next door, it shares a wall, but this restaurant, it's so cute because you've got 2 levels. It's an old building. The bottom level has the kitchen, and you have to go past the kitchen upstairs to get to more seating. And you can see remnants of old architecture there too, which I think is so cool because you know how you look up and you can see like the tin ceilings or the crown molding that is just not made anymore.
Yeah.
I love those things. So I got really excited. I didn't tell you, but I got really excited about looking around. I even looked around in the bathroom because it was so exciting.
I don't even have to spend a lot of money. I just got to take you to an old place for a date, and you're going to be happy because you get to look around.
I know. And then I had some grilled grouper tacos with corn tortillas.
That was good.
So good. They make some beans with some pork, and it's not refried, but it's more of like a stewed beans. It's very, very good. And then you had trout. It was a special of the day.
It was a special.
So, yeah.
That was really good, too.
Yeah. So, all in all, it was a really great day. And I should start talking about something else because I'm really getting hungry.
So, we're midway into the week. We're in week 2 now for high school football. So, this week, we've got some Cobb County games coming up, including Campbell versus South Forsyth.
Yay!
Harrison is at Wheeler this week. Hillgrove is playing Lanier. McEachern is playing North Cobb. Osborne is at Chapel Hill. Pebblebrook is at Meadow Creek. South Cobb is playing Drew. Marietta is at West Forsyth. North Cobb is at McEachern. Wheeler is at Harrison. And Walton is at Lambert. So we've got I think the next home game for Pope is next week, but the energy is palpable on Friday nights around here. Like just going out for a walk or a drive, you see everybody going up and down the streets, walking to and from games, cars backing up miles down the road, waiting to get into the stadium. So I mean, the energy is here. It's great to be back. I'm excited. I think we're very close to Georgia football starting up as well. When is that?
I don't know, but I'm starting to itch because I really want to watch the dogs.
August 30th is the first game against Marshall. So we've got 10 days left. So
we are Marshall people.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
so
right.
we've got 10 days left from this recording until college football is here. So you're just going to have to support the young'uns and get out there for the high school football.
Christmas in August.
It really is. It's going to be really nice to get my Saturday mornings back.
Do you? I remember going to these football games because we did go to high school in Cobb County.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Do you remember any traditions that you had, like, as a student? All I remember, because it was so long ago, I remember, and I think it's the same still, is that we all sat together, and then there were alumni and parents who sat in a different section, and then there was also, if you had them, middle schoolers that came from the feeder schools. But it really depended on which school you're at, too. And I'm sure they've changed the stadium since we've been.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the one tradition that I remember that we had back then that you just can't do today is collecting your ticket stubs. And like putting it in your senior book, but they don't do that anymore because it's no longer paper tickets. Everything's a QR code. What are you supposed to do? Save your QR image? Like, I don't understand how, what memory books or if they're even doing senior books anymore, because a lot of that stuff you just don't get.
This argument, all right, I've been working on my mother's DAR application, right?
Yeah.
Y'all. Courthouses burned down. Papers are lost.
Cities don't exist anymore.
Or they've combined, or they've split off, and now they're in a different sounding county. I mean, there's a lot. And yes, I lament, the tickets, because, you used to go to concerts and collect those tickets. And you can still buy, like, Elvis tickets from his first concert, the stubs for that. Those are collector items. But also at the same time, they can burn too. So, I mean, it's a catch-22, I think. It's nice to look at, but it's also just stuff too.
It is stuff, but, like last year I was going through one of the old boxes and found my senior book. And I have all of the concert tickets that I went to, like when 99X did On the Bricks and all of the summer showcases. So like it's great to have and be like, oh yeah, that was the first concert I went to. Oh yeah, that was this summer I went and saw all of them. Oh yeah, that's when I crowd surfed to NERD at, Olympic Park, Centennial Olympic Park. So all of those memories just, you come back when you see the physical thing. And
I think
kind
that
of puts you back there.
The last generation that went to Georgia that had paper tickets.
Yeah, it might have gone on a couple of years after we graduated, but
maybe.
Yeah, when you were done with vet school, pretty much all of the football tickets had switched from paper to electronic, and then they were on your ID card.
I have never attended a football game with an electronic ticket. That probably places me in a specific range of years.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I have?
Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah, that you went with Meg.
Oh, well, then I had my second child by then. So.
Yep. And what really, really got me about that
You're the dad.
was that beforehand, I could have just gone and bought a couple of student tickets and got in really cheap. And because you're scalping paper tickets,
right?
Not now, but the first few years after graduation, I could have probably still passed as a student and gotten into the student section without issue. But now it's like all of the tickets and with the NCAA championships and all the wins. I mean, your ticket price used to be $15 to $50, and now it starts at like $200 for like a homecoming ticket where you're just going to blow the team out of the water. You get into some big games and you're looking at $1,000 plus. I mean, it's all fun and well, I guess it's all good for the program and raising money for the school, but damn, it puts it out of out of reach for a lot of folks.
I'm so glad that I had 8 wonderful years at the University of Georgia.
Heck yeah.
And 8 wonderful seasons of student tickets.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Miss those days.
Yeah, well, hey, I want to talk about something that you've been doing. It is Cobb 101. Now, this is a program that you have to apply to, and I heard that there are a lot of applicants.
Yeah, so Cobb 101 it's a relatively new program. I think this is the 5th year that it's been put on. So I'm in the 5th class. Cobb 101 is the Citizens Government Academy for Cobb County. So a few years ago, the commissioners got together and realized, hey, we have a need for teaching the people that live here how our government works in a very transparent way. And a lot of compare and contrast, right? They talk about like what's happening and how other governments operate versus how Cobb is doing things. So it's a rotation program, goes over 12 weeks. We have 11 classes. 1 week is Cobb County fall break, so we don't meet. And we go on rotations through different departments. So last week was the first week, which was our introduction. So we're in the Commissioners Building off Marietta Square, and we got an overview for the organizational structure of Cobb County's government, what the county runs, what the county manages, who's responsible to whom, and then where oversight kind of belongs in that organizational chart. Then afterwards, we went and we got to learn about the Cobb County Communications Department and their role in helping disseminate information from our county commissioners and, our town hall meetings, the things that they do at the county commissioner's office, all the way through helping our residents and anybody who calls into the county to find out where they need to go or what department they need to get to for whatever it is that they need. Mm-hmm. And one example of this is, if you're calling the county because of trash on the side of the road, you could call the individual departments, but if you call the county number, then they're going to ask you a bunch of questions. And they're going to ask you, well, is the trash hanging out of a truck about to fall off? Is it small trash that's fallen, or do we have a big couch? And then they're going to route you to the right department because those are 3 different departments within the county that handle that issue. So
really?
Yeah. And so it's really cool to see how they work. My takeaways are that Cobb County is incredibly efficient at their staffing because we have one of the lowest sales tax rates of any metro Atlanta county. There's not a county that has a lower sales tax rate. We're at 6%. Our surrounding counties, Cherokee's at 6%, but the remaining surrounding counties are either at 7, 8, or in Fulton, it can go up to 9, depending upon where you are. So they're operating with less revenue, smaller departments, but yet in some of their metrics, they're outperforming their surrounding counties. Like they compete against each other. And Cobb County's communications department is up for 4 awards next month.
That's awesome.
They're part of some media organization for government communications, and they're up for 4 awards. It's really cool because the director of communications for Cobb County is Ross Cavett. Now, I don't know if you recognize that name, but Ross Cavett was on Channel 2 Action News for years. He started out in meteorology, and then he was one of our local investigative journalists. So we have a seasoned pro running our communications department here at the county level.
Sounds good. So last time I saw trash in the road, somebody had dropped a giant a queen-size mattress in the middle of the road.
Nice.
And we're talking about the connector, Canton connector. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's a 2-lane road. So it's, I think, 2.
That'll back up traffic real quick.
Yeah. So what do you do, right? It's right in the middle of it. I called 911. Was that wrong?
So you can actually...
It was very dangerous.
So the Cobb County, the general information number for Cobb County, you can call that for any non-emergency. Mm-hmm. And I'll pull that up right now. If you go to selectrealty.com, I have a very lengthy article about the first class. It was kind of an op-ed that I did. On the takeaways from the program and what I learned in the first class. But for reaching out directly to the communications department, I think I have the number right here. Here it is, 770-528-1000. So you can call that number for the non-emergency police line.
Okay.
You can call that number for any communication information. If you have a question about animal services, or there's a pothole issue, or whatever it is that you need, if the county handles it, even if the county doesn't handle it, you can call that number. Because in a lot of circumstances, Cobb County will provide additional services for like city services. For instance, like Marietta City, if you're calling 911, 911 is going to dispatch for Cobb and Marietta, same number.
Okay.
Sometimes Marietta is going to get it, but there are resources that we have at the county level that the city levels don't have. For instance, a dive team, search and rescue. Marietta City doesn't have that. Marietta City doesn't have a bomb squad. Cobb County does.
Right.
So even though the city and county levels are kind of split, there's overlap in services to make sure that, you know, every resident here is protected and safe and has those resources. So if you have questions, you can contact 770-528-1000. What's really cool is that, you know, in previous years, it used to take like upwards of a year to train somebody, because
For what?
to kind of operate the switchboard of the county phone number.
Oh.
Because what goes where, who handles what. But over the past few years, they've implemented this online directory. It's like a fast system that they use to access information, and they can now train in 6 to 8 weeks what used to take a year. So they're incredibly efficient. It shows why they're getting awards. Their social media and engagement across all platforms is apparently better than Gwinnett County's numbers, and they're doing it with a staff about half the people. So they're definitely doing a great job. I'm proud. My takeaway was, I think we're in good hands with communication.
How can people, if they want to do this next year, because this year's class is closed?
Yeah.
If they want to do it next year, how did you even find out about this?
I subscribe to a bunch of newsletters with Marietta and Cobb County, and one of those is to our county commissioner, Joanne Burrell. And just in the updates that come out, I saw that they were taking applications for Cobb 101. I said, we're in the middle of the summer, so I had no idea what the school schedule was going to be. And I was like, Thursday nights, we don't do anything during the night
Not
now.
Yet.
So I said, sure. And it was the largest turnout of any class that they've had yet in applicants. There were something like 130 people applied, and 31 or 32 of us got accepted. So some are business leaders, some are retirees that are engaged in civic life, some are engaged in PTAs. Basically, everybody there has their foot somewhere in like civic life.
I read the bios on some of them, and they sound really accomplished too.
Yeah, a lot of folks are. So you get to be in a class with other kind of civic-minded folks. We spend a lot of time volunteering in our community every year, and from CAR stuff to Cobb Association of Realtors things to volunteering with the kids or Kiwanis. So we're always doing something in the community with some other people that are doing things in the community, and I think this is going to be 12 weeks. We're going to rotate through departments. Like tomorrow night, I believe we're meeting at the jury selection room, so it's probably going to be around court operations. Later on, we're going to meet at the sheriff's office. We'll be at the Cobb public safety training facility 1 week. We'll have Parks and Rec 1 week, the library system. Funny enough, I learned there's over 31 call centers in Cobb County. And when you call the main number, the 770-528-1000, they can dispatch to any of the other call centers. And if you call them for something where the county doesn't handle it, but it's another government service that handles it, either for the state or city, they have a one-click dispatch, so they can just transfer you directly. So you can call the county for anything that you need.
That's handy.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, do you recommend it?
So far, so good. I mean, I would say if you're engaged in any sort of interactions with our local government, I'm learning a lot. I have a great appreciation for what our folks are doing and how our tax dollars are spent, because that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. You know, of our sales tax, we have 6%. Well, 1% of that is what goes to the county. That's it. 4% goes to the state, 1% to the county, 1% to the school system. And, you know, another thing I walked away with is knowing the school district and the county government don't really do much together. Like there's a little bit of oversight, but they are very independent things. So it's like I'm not learning about how the school board works or any of that, because they are very independent. But we are learning about the interdependencies of agencies within the county. We'll be doing, I think I'll have a lesson from the fire marshal's office, and frankly it's quite funny during the introductions the police are making fun of the firefighters, so I mean that's always you know, they told us we're going to learn how to tuck a firefighter in at night.
They're friends.
Yeah, they're rivals. They're rivals. It's like Auburn and Georgia. It's like Alabama and Georgia.
It's like Navy and Army.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Exactly. So all in all, I'd highly recommend it. I want to say the application opened up midsummer, and they made the selections or late spring, and then they made the selections midsummer. So it was an application process. Didn't take too long. But when they came out and said, "Hey, you're in," I only had like 48 hours to basically commit to it, because there's a lot of people. So that if I wasn't going to do it, they were going to give my seat to someone else.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about real estate instead. Prepping your house for hurricane season, because it's getting stormy.
It's getting stormy, yeah. We've got one hurricane off the coast of Georgia coming, and that one is not supposed to make landfall, but still bring like 10 to 15 foot waves with it or something like that.
So, okay, let's back up here before we really talk about this. So, storms and real estate, right? So, in the Metro Atlanta area, we really don't have this problem, but coastal areas do. And that has to do with insurance, right? So storms and insurance, they are kind of like oil and water.
Well, yeah. Well, there's two types of insurance that are going to be primary for dealing with storms. One is going to be flood insurance. And you're going to have flood insurance on your home if your home is within a FEMA's 100-year flood zone and it was in that flood zone when you last bought your house. So if you've owned your house in the Metro Atlanta area prior to 2009, you could actually be in a flood zone and not know it, because those maps were redrawn in 2009. We had a 500-year flood event. If you've bought since then, you're using the current maps, and if you go to buy a house and it's in a flood zone, you basically get flood insurance. It's through FEMA. There are 100 and something carriers that will underwrite flood insurance. You know, you can go through the Hartford, you can go through Farmers, but all of the flood insurance is the same. It's set by FEMA. FEMA is the entity that issues the flood insurance. It's all government backed. The provider that does it is just, you know, whoever you want to deal with on claims.
So say you live in a place where it's really close by to the floodplain.
Yeah.
Or it's in the floodplain. What happens if you make a claim and then it happens again, then you make a claim and then you're still living there?
Well, it's usually a 3-strike process, but fortunately, Georgia doesn't have many areas that are prone to that level of flooding.
Correct.
So, and it all depends on topography, right? What's the elevation look like on your land too? But flood insurance, like other types of insurance, if you keep filing claims, it's going to become harder and harder to insure that property. And we're seeing increased cost across the board in insurance. For instance, on your property owner's insurance, we have several carriers in the state of Georgia now that will not insure your roof if it's older than 15 years old. So they'll insure the house, they'll just insure around the roof. So if that roof needs to be replaced from hail damage, and that's a common thing here in Georgia, then you're going to have to pay for that out of pocket. So you need to make sure that you have that savings set aside if you're buying a house that has a roof older than 15 years. Or if you're under contract or thinking about selling your house, you should probably have that roof evaluated. See if there's any claim that can be done. Get a new roof if you can. If it's had any hail damage on it in the last year or so, it's so much easier just to pay your deductible and get a new roof and call it a day.
And also, along with the maintenance of it, make sure you have that debris cleared off at all times.
Yeah.
Secure the shingles because they can get loose. We do have some really strong winds. I think we had a tropical storm a couple of years ago. It was just gusty. And then check the downspouts as well. Not everyone has the gutter guards, so debris does get stuck in it, and most commonly it's pine needles here, and those downspouts can get really clogged. So make sure you do inspect and maintain them.
Clogged gutters is probably the most common cause of water intrusion into homes that I've found in my career. So whenever I have a call and somebody's like, oh, water's getting into the basement, or water's coming in through the front door or under the window, but it's like damaging our drywall, 9 times out of 10 that water is coming from gutters that are clogged, and water is backing up and spilling out over the top, landing close to the foundation. It's not getting carried through the drains and extended away from the property. It's when water just kind of falls right below the gutter, pools up next to the house, and starts coming in. It's one of the easiest maintenance items because you can find a handyman to clear your gutters for $150 to $250 probably. They'll get up there with a leaf blower and blow out your gutters, and everything will be fine. But if you ignore it and you let water continue to pile up near your foundation, you're inviting trouble in, because you're going to have rot, you're going to have insect intrusion, you're going to have water damage, you're going to have hardwood start to bow and bubble up near the edge of windows, and it's a relatively common thing to prevent.
Like you've seen a lot of it.
I have. Well, I've been managing, not only do I help people buy and sell homes, but I've been managing homes since 2012. We've been investing in homes since 2008. And, we've dabbled in the new construction side of things. We've dabbled in the development side of things. So there's not a lot of this industry that I haven't been exposed to. And property management has probably been the biggest eye-opener for me in terms of house maintenance, what goes wrong, why it goes wrong, and how to prevent it.
Well, just keep your gutters clean. Make sure you change your filters and clean out your lint trap.
Oh, changing the filter is a huge one, especially if you haven't done, if you've done any work in the house where you've had dust or drywall dust or sawdust or anything like that going on. After the work is done, change your filter. Even if you changed it a week before the work started, change your filter a few days after the work is done, and then check it a week later. You may need to change it again. We had a property that was getting mold issues because we had a filter that was so clogged that air wasn't flowing through it, and it was contributing to high moisture content and condensation on the ductwork. We were getting moisture in the ducts. We had mold coming out of different areas. We had to bring in a mold vendor to come in and do some remediation at the property. And then, other things. We also had a pinhole leak that happened in one of those copper pipes. If you have copper piping and it's anywhere near 30, 40 years old, you're just going to start developing pinhole leaks in Georgia. It's just, especially Cobb County, it'll happen. So you just got to pay attention to that stuff. But with the storm season on the rise, we got a few other big tips for kind of going around and preparing your house for all of these storms. And inspecting your roof and gutters, definitely number one. Trim your trees and branches. If you have any dead or dying trees, right, have them taken down before the winds kick up and do it for you. It is nice to not have to pay for the removal if insurance is covering it. It is not nice to have to live out of a hotel room for 3 months because your house is not habitable anymore because the tree ended up hitting your house. And that's not a fun thing. Dealing with the loss of personal items, so much easier. Just if you've got a dead tree, have it removed. If you have any branches that are touching the roof or close to the house, have those trimmed back. One, that's going to help so that in the event of high winds, it's not going to damage the house. But two, it's also going to keep rodents off your roof and out of your attic. You're not going to have that highway for squirrels and the like to get into your attic because they're looking for a nice, warm, dry place. And they will find it.
One of my pet peeves is planting a tree right by the foundation of your house. Don't do that.
It's not a good idea.
The branches are going to touch your house.
And the roots are going to damage your foundation.
Right. So put it somewhere else, okay? It doesn't belong there. Roots do stuff.
What's the next thing that we need to do in getting ready for the upcoming storm season, honey?
Secure outdoor items. So those patio umbrellas that you have out there, they will Mary Poppins it out of there real quick. So make sure you have that strapped down. Larger items like greenhouses, it really depends on how it was built. I know we had to secure ours one time because the tropical storm was coming. Well, it's ratcheted now.
We have hurricane straps like inside it.
Yeah, but if you have a smaller one, like a little kit, then it could go flying away too. Also, if you have kids in bounce houses, watch out for that too. They shouldn't be outside.
Probably not for a hurricane.
No. But it also includes grills and garden tools as well.
I would kind of enjoy the idea of being on a bounce house in a hurricane.
Nah.
I mean, comedically speaking, not to actually do it, but yeah, it would be funny.
Check your windows and doors. So in Georgia, commonly we have storm windows, and then we have the window in the back.
That's more common on older homes like ours, which was built in the 70s, because we had the old single pane windows.
Sure, but East Cobb is mainly 70s build, so we're going to have a lot of them here.
Newer homes are going to have more, I guess, impact resistant glass that they're making it out of. And, there'll be the double pane vinyls. But the older ones, if you've got the storm windows, make sure you've got the glass panels down. If you're down on the coast in Georgia, probably a good idea to have, plywood ready. I don't think we really need that up here.
No, it's not that strong.
No.
Really, you need plywood for like category 4.
Yeah. Let's see.
How I know. I'm just kidding.
Well, you've been stuck in a hurricane, as have I before. So it's not fun, especially if you're trying to do things in a hurricane. But then the next thing is make sure that you're prepared, right? Have backup power available. If you've got battery banks, charge them. If you've got one of those new battery generators, they're like the Jackeries or things like that. Make sure it's all fully charged. If you've got a real generator, make sure you're gassed up. Make sure that whoever needs to know how to operate it knows what they're doing.
Not indoors or in your garage. Please.
Yeah, if you've got a generator, make sure that you're only running that in a well-ventilated area. The generator should be outside. It should be away from any areas. It should be grounded so that it's operating properly and nobody's going to get zapped.
And use the right fuel for it too. So here's the thing about backup power here in Georgia. Yeah. Nobody needs them until they need them.
And then when you need them, everybody needs them and nobody has it.
Yes. So put it on your birthday list or something. Get it some really odd time of the year. You're probably going to get a better deal because everyone buys them all out. It's just like, summertime and fans and things like that. So
we own a generator because we survived snowpocalypse 2013.
Yes.
Or 2014, whenever that was.
Have emergency supplies, so water, food, flashlights, batteries, first aid kits. You never know what is going to stop working. And once you run out of water, there's a lot of things you can't do.
If your house is all electric, it might be a good idea to have one of those tabletop gas burners with some butane canisters. That way, if you lose power, you can still cook because you'll be able to boil water. You'll be able to, make some ramen or boil some canned soup. I don't know. But you're going to lose all electricity. So it's good to have some backup options available.
Now, in our area, we have a lot of underground utilities, so we don't have as many power outages as we used to. I remember the power would go out a lot when I was younger, but I haven't really noticed that as much as an adult. So I do think that that's a big plus for Metro Atlanta.
I don't know if that's a Metro Atlanta thing or if that's a Cobb EMC thing, because as far as the different power companies have ratings of like what their outage times are, and Cobb EMC has always been like one of the lowest. Their downtime is like ridiculously small. They've got a huge tech team that's out to support. Their response time is very fast.
Crushing little kids' playtime dreams. Building a fort when it's pitch dark.
I know. Well, that's something that the kids really haven't had to deal with is like power outages. And I think every time they're secretly hoping that it's going to go out and we're going to live by, candlelight and
flashlight.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Which if we do lose power this year, we're going to be just fine because we now have these fancy decorative oil lamps in our living room that tie into the kind of modern Victorian design that Céline has done with the interior decor of our house.
Well, so if anything does happen to your home, what should you do?
Well, one is before the storm, you should make sure that your insurance coverage is up to date. We've had times where the insurance provider would send a bill to the mortgage company. The mortgage company had changed their internal mailing, and the servicer wasn't receiving the notification of the bill, and the coverage lapsed. And we had to work with the insurance provider to reinstate coverage while trying to get the payment from the mortgage company. So make sure that you have coverage. That's the first thing. Second thing, make sure your coverage is adequate enough for the property that you have. We've had run-ups in valuations for real estate over the last few years, and the cost to build has gone up over the last 5 years. So make sure that your home insurance coverage is sufficient for either rebuilding or replacing the type of house that you have.
You're not just saying this because you read it somewhere. Like, you were licensed to sell insurance.
I used to be, yeah. I used to be licensed in a lot of financial products. I was a Series 7 and 66, which was my financial securities licenses. While I never sold home insurance, I did sell health and variable product like annuities, that kind of things.
So you had to be aware of what was what.
But yes, I've dealt with homeowners insurance coverage, for 14, 15 years now. So make sure you have coverage. 2, make sure your coverage is adequate enough. And 3, if you're not a homeowner and you're a renter, make sure you have renter's insurance. Because if you are renting a home and that home gets damaged, well, the landlord isn't going to pay for you to have a hotel while the house is being worked on. And if it becomes uninhabitable, you're going to have to leave that house for the work to be done on it. So make sure that you have renter's insurance coverage. Make sure it's going to cover you in the event that something happens and you have to be dispossessed for a few days or weeks. I've had a house that caught on fire. The renter's insurance coverage paid for them to have a hotel for, a week while we had the restoration done, and it all worked out. But if they didn't have that, where were they going to go? They didn't have any family locally here. They were traveling here for work. So questions like this, ask yourself, if something happens, where am I going to go? How am I going to get there? Who's going to pay for it? And if you're insured properly, hopefully that's going to cover that in the event of that kind of issue. Along with your insurance, make sure you document your property, not just keeping like a running list, but take photos. If you have heirlooms, if you have expensive things, jewelry, gun collections, collectible items, sports memorabilia, take photos of those items, because in the event that they're damaged during a storm, you will have evidence of what you're claiming to make claims on. Additionally, if you don't have that documentation and something happens in a storm, when you go to make that claim, how do you know how much you need to be reimbursed for? Right? Or how do you know how much you need to insure yourself for? Because there's personal property sections to your insurance policies. Those personal property sections are going to detail the maximum limit, and how are you going to justify how much of that limit needs to come out in the event that you make a claim. So you want to have a detailed list, keep photographs to kind of document and show your insurance adjuster, and that should hopefully make the process a lot easier. God forbid you have to go through that process. Hopefully none of you ever do.
I love how you put sump pump on here.
Yes.
On the list. So I don't think I knew what a sump pump was until you installed one in our house.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a funny name. I'm like, what are you pumping? I couldn't figure it out. Sumps. You're pumping.
I'm pumping sumps. Now, so this is something that a lot of people actually don't know what it is. If you go into your basement and you have this little round circle thing that's kind of dug out into the foundation floor with some pipes around it, that's a sump pump. There are two ways. Essentially, your sewer line, where all the water leaving your house is going, is gravity fed. So from upstairs in your house, the second floor, the first floor, it's going to be above your sewer line. That's going to drain at like a negative slope from inside your house all the way to the sewer main in the street. But what happens if you have a basement and your sewer line is above your head and you want to put a toilet in your basement? Well, you have to pump the water up higher so that it can then reach the drain to let gravity take it the rest of the way. A sump pump is the device that does this. If you have a basement, bathroom, likely all of the water from the shower, the sink, and the toilet are going into the pump, and then you'll hear the pump running. It'll push the water up and into the sewer main, which gravity will then take it the rest of the way. It's also used in waterproofing applications. So if you have kind of a moist basement, they will do like a French drain or a waterproofing section of the wall, and they will run channels into a sump pump. So water will collect, it'll run gravity fed into that pump, and then it'll be pumped out of the house, either into the sewage system or externally and down away from the foundation. But you want to make sure that your house that these are operating properly, especially if it's one that's just for water collection in the event of flooding, because sometimes they exist in crawl spaces where there's no kind of water drainage. So in those cases, you could take some, like a bucket of water, just dump it around where the water collects and make sure that the sump pump is working to pull it out. Because the last thing that you want is for us to get a lot of heavy rains, your crawl space starts to flood, and you realize, oh shoot, our sump pump's motor burnt out and now it's not working. It's a whole lot easier to fix the motor and put a new pump in than it is to replace that, along with, all the flood damage from, too much water hitting that crawl space.
You're going to go in there and take little scoops by your hand and throw them out.
Yeah, totally. That's me. And then the last thing, as we're getting ready for storm season, have a plan in place. What's that old saying? It's like fail to plan and you plan to fail.
Yeah, so some houses do have reinforced closets and reinforced places.
Yeah.
If not, then we're told in elementary school to find the most secure place with no windows, because windows are basically holes to the outside, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be somewhere low and you want to have really solid walls around you. Sometimes that's just not possible. So if you're in a condo or something, maybe the bathtub. If you're in a home, then a basement if you have one. So look around, see what's there, and then see what the best option is. Also, family plan. So we take this for granted, but if you have younger children, they know what to do now. Ours do. But when they were younger, they didn't quite understand what was going on, right? Because thunder scared them. I mean, they were really little.
Their shadow scared them.
It still scares them.
Sometimes.
So they get a little excited during thunderstorms, especially if there is a siren going off. Then it all heck breaks loose, and then they're running around like their hair is on fire. Oh my gosh, we gotta go, escape. And then they sit in the basement, watch TV, and calm down. And then they go back upstairs with non-events, right? So I don't try a drill or something like that. See if they can do that.
It's always beneficial to know what to do in the event of an emergency. If you have to leave the house, where are you going? Where are you meeting? What is the communication plan? What is the evacuation route? Do you have access to any important documents that you're going to need? Do you have those available? Are they protected in the event that your house is going to have a fire or a flood? These are all important questions to ask, and having them in a convenient place ready to go is always really easy, because the last thing that you want is an emergency happens and then you have to go through and figure out where you put everything. So just as we're getting into the storm season, which is one of the 37 seasons that we have in Georgia every year, it's important to refresh, make sure that everything's updated, make sure that all your batteries and...
It's not ice cream.
What?
Flavors. Was it Baskin Robbins that has 35 flavors?
No, we have more seasons than that. Because we have like 4 springs, fake spring, real spring. Then you have, sauna.
Sauna. Oven.
Hell.
Purgatory.
Currently, we're in wet rainforest season right now,
muggy.
where it's like 120 to 150% humidity every day, despite it raining. This is Georgia's weather.
That's true.
It's nice that we don't get a lot of snow and ice, but we live in a sauna.
A soup.
It's
a humidity soup, right? Well, anyways.
There's places where it feels like that.
Follow us on YouTube at East Cobber Evans. Instagram, his...
Real Chris Evans, REEL.
Yes, because we like fishing.
Yeah.
And we do have some podcast links as well. We have Apple, Georgia Living Podcast, as well as Spotify, Georgia Living on Spotify. And share with a neighbor. We are local people here. We grew up here. We're still here. We have a family here. And we'd love to chat.
Yeah, and if you see us around town, let us know. We say hey, or if you have anything that you want to hear on the show, drop us a line or put a comment in, and just let us know what you'd like covered. If you think that there's anybody we should spotlight, somebody doing really cool stuff in the county, then let us know. But yeah, please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, all.